I allowed to smoke here?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Here's
Yep.
my vice.
We are not on TikTok. I mean, like I'm on TikTok, but they can't see you, so it's fine. You can drive, you can smoke, you can do all the things that.
God, it's freaking cold outside, man. Damn. Rain and cold.
Okay, so those of you that are watching, we did have about 8 people watching live on TikTok too here, and so I'm sure they'll be back in. But we are going to restart Jules' story. Jules was telling us we were just we were just talking about where you just had the baby.
The second baby.
The second baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to do what my birth mother did to me. I'm not going to bring a child into this world and drag her through the shit, that I was going through. That was my life, and I wouldn't do that to someone. Okay? That is not fair. You don't do that to anybody, And that's why I gave her up for adoption. And I didn't want to quit using, So there, yeah. And then the second one, the same family adopted her. And she was addicted.
Awesome.
Sarah. And I'm friends with her. Emily, I don't know. She doesn't want to meet me. She doesn't want to know me. Which is cool. I mean, I go over to Ellensburg and on Thanksgiving and see these families. And talk to Pam Haberman and her husband, and I see Sarah, Beautiful girl. Beautiful. And then let's see.
I'm so glad that you at least get to have a relationship with one of them. That's
Yes. Well, yeah, that was the second one. And then let's see. My addiction started getting a lot. I was still using a lot. I mean, yeah. There's so much heroin. I was getting so sick, but it was supplied to me, so, I just had to do was suck its dick. And then, he got prostate cancer and died. And I was like, fuck. Now what the fuck am I gonna do? Well, I wasn't gonna be sick. So, I went out on the streets of Seattle and started prostituting. And prostituted and did everything I could. Let anybody do anything they wanted. Bad times. Because I didn't want to be sick. I had to get well. Abscesses. I was maybe 100 pounds. With all these black guys trying to get me to be the one pimp. I'm like, fuck you. None of it. No. I was going in hotels, shady hotels, smoking crack. Just heavy using. Blew out all my veins, overdosed multiple times. Was taken in King County detox multiple times. And all I could think about when I got out is, where am I going to go to get my dope? So I didn't want to quit. I wasn't ready. And my dad would come over and see me in Ballard. He would sneak over there and he'd bring me, $200. He knew what I was spending it on. But he wanted to see me, And my stepmom never knew that he was doing that. And then, so I just worked the streets, and then I got pregnant again with the third one. And I stayed kind of clean. Not all the way. And then I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it to keep her. I named her Haley. I have a tattoo of her name on my arm. And she, I had her for about 4 years. And then I relapsed. And CPS took her away from me. So I fucked that up. So I said, fuck it. back to the streets. There I went. Back to the streets. Never got HIV, thank God. I did get hepatitis C, but then I went through a research program. You know, at UW, where I graduated from nursing school with a needle in my arm, a crack pipe. You know, I didn't use a degree right then, but I got it. And they cured the hep C. And then, let's see, you know, I mean, it's rough times, rough times. You know, any addict on the street is rough times. You know, any addiction's rough times. Nothing's worse. Or, I mean, my story isn't any worse than anyone else. You know, it's all trauma. You know, everyone's got their own story. But, yeah, I was not going to quit. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about my life. I didn't care about anything except dope. And I just kept using and using. And then I couldn't find any more veins. So I'm muscling it. And in my left upper arm, I got an abscess. Fuck it, I don't care. I tried to fucking clean it out myself. It got infected, and it turned into gangrene and endocarditis. And it went into my heart. And they found me on the streets. Surprised I wasn't, you know, that I didn't kill me. Because it went septic in me. And they called my dad to get permission to remove my arm to try to save me. And he said yes. And the next morning I woke up out of the coma and the antibiotic started working. I do have a large part of my left upper arm missing. But, you know, that's when I got clean. And I decided this was not going to work. It's not going to work for me. And I went through King County Detox. I went through King County Sexual Assault. I did all of the programs, and I just fucking let loose. And just said it. I was so angry and hurt. And I'm like, you know, and it's just, yeah. And still my stepmom wouldn't let me come around. She called me a junkie. Just laugh at me with her friends and her kids. So that's why my dad would sneak off to see me. And then, you know, I was going to NA and made a couple boyfriends. Bad choices. You know, they're trying to get me to smoke crack with them again. One of them just wanted me to be there while he could, you know, do a party and play on Facebook. He ended up getting HIV. You know, I never had sex with him, so thank God for that. And then in 2010, he beat the shit out of me and poured a thing of boiling water on my back. And I ran down the street and I called my mom and dad. And my stepsister, Gail, she's actually the one who actually cared about me. She would take me shopping, paid attention to me. The other ones, they didn't care. Well, she told them that it's their responsibility to come and get me and help me. So it moved me back to Kirkland, stayed with them. 2010. 2013, my dad bought me a condominium. And where I'm living now. And from then on, I seemed to get along with my stepmom. We had a better relationship then, you know. Things were a lot different. And, and I let him know everything that was going on, and my brother. So we went and redid the will. They removed him and left me and my sister as as beneficiaries. And then I was doing hospice, RN in hospice, and it was 2015. My dad had his first stroke due to alcohol and drugs. And I quit hospice. I retired from that, kept my nursing license, reapplied. Still have my nursing license because I reapplied for it or tested for it. And took care of him. He's my dad, he's my best friend. I mean, take me to NASCAR, taught me all the things about working on motors and cars. And, I was like, taught me all about the military and Vietnam. And, he called me his little MP growing up, you know. Um, and, and then the second stroke hit, big one. And it just started depleted. Then the third stroke hit. Then the fourth stroke hit. That was the big one. Or the doctor said he could not come home. My stepmom said no. She was selfish, narcissistic. I'm not giving up my house. Blah, 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 blah. And her daughter, Gail, said, no, this is how it's going to go. Because her children died. Terry died of alcoholism. Becky died of alcoholism. And my brother, John, was HIV positive. My stepbrother, her son. So, I mean, she really had no right to judge me. All of her kids were junkies too, But, hey, it is what it is. And then, took care of my dad. Took care of him all this time. And got him in AGES in 2020, 22. Yeah. And February 17th of 2024, my stepmom passed away. And then July 2024, my dad passed away in hospice. But I took over the hospice stuff. And then I just started blocking everything out, pushing things away, pushing it back, not wanting to deal with it. My stepsister wanted to celebrate Mother's Day and go to Maui for Mother's Day and, her birthday and, all this shit. And when my dad's birthday came around last summer, she didn't give a shit. It was Father's Day, his birthday, and he was passed. She didn't give a shit. And that's when I pretty much lost it and had that first panic attack. I thought I was gonna fucking die. I've never had a panic attack before. I mean, it scared the shit out of me. And I called my friend Walker, who's a Kirkland police officer, and Officer Baker, and they came. And I said, I swear I'm not high. I swear I'm not getting. They said, we know. And they worked me through it. Found me a psychiatrist to go to and talk to about it. And I did. And then they sent me back to the stupid counselor who just wanted me to sit there and go, all this shit. I'm like, man, I want to yell. I want to scream. What kind of fucking God did this to my dad? He was my best friend. He was a good man. Yes, he made mistakes in life. We all do. But you know what? That's when I was like, fuck you, God. You took my fucking dad and he suffered for 9 years, just slowly melting with that fucking dementia. And it all just hit me this past summer. And yeah. And then, going on that stupid Bumble date with that dude who broke my shoulder in the Olive Garden parking lot. So I quit Fred Meyer where I was working. thought, oh, I'm going to retire. This will be fun. Fuck no. I'm 53 years old. I've got so much energy. I'm a routine person, you know, and now I've got all this time on my hands and my head is fucked up. And my stepsister's always like, are you high? Are you using drugs? What are you doing? Are you getting high? Are you going to go to that? You know what? No, I'm not. And what gives you the fucking right, say anything? She's manic bipolar and massive OCD. She just sprays everybody down with fucking Lysol when you get in the car. So yeah. She that's how that went. And then she got a Airbnb down in Palm Springs. And she said, oh, this fancy shit. And she thought she was going to, have this big party and all this shit was going to happen. And invited me down there. And I went down, she's dragging me around with all this. Oh, you got to wear these evening gowns and all this shit. And I'm all, can I wear my Converse? Can I wear my Levi's? No, you can't go. I'm like, okay, whatever. We got in a fight down there because she's narcissistic like her mother. And I wasn't paying full attention to her. I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone about her house selling. We got in a fight, and she totally dramatized it. Said I ruined her trip. And she lies a lot. Said, I screwed everything, and she went, I'm never having anything to do with you. We are done. So the next morning, we got up, and once again, I've done it multiple times. I said, I'm sorry. It's my fault. It's all my fault. Yeah, that's what you got to do with people, when they have mental illness. I don't have a problem doing that with her. We fly back home, and she hasn't talked to me since. She's completely ghosted me. And I am the last fucking family that she has. She's got her ex-husband. Oh, okay. Well, they're not divorced, but he's got a 35-year-old hot girlfriend, And she's alone. She's got no one. She won't even fucking talk to me. Totally ghosts me. You think that I miss you? You think, what are you trying to do? And that just has fucked up my head, And yeah, I didn't realize that this shit was going to hit so late. These panic attacks, all this shit that I just had pushed aside, and now it's all coming out and I feel like a fucking crackhead, I'm, dancing around, I'm so nervous. I pace back and forth. I smoke a shit ton of cigarettes now, I don't drink because, my ex-boyfriend that I was with for 12 years was heavy alcoholic. He's the one that killed himself last February, and I found him. Some birds aren't meant to fly. Yeah, it's just, I just don't know. I don't know. I miss my dad. I got to get out of this fucking city. I've got to get out of Seattle. I've got to. This place is driving me fucking crazy. I go out on the streets and it's just massive anxiety. I just think about him because I was born and raised here. That's all I can think about is, my dad. And I want to get away. I got to get away and start something new. Just go somewhere where I can just be myself, She's, oh, well, you don't know how to do it on your own. Bitch, really? Is that what you think? So, I'm a good person. I'm a responsible person. I'm a caring person. And I help people. And I've been taken advantage of a few times, yes. But that's my fault, But, my dad always said, you should always try to help people if they need it, And I have. But yeah, no more. At least not on TikTok.
I
Not
understand completely. And I appreciate you sharing your story. You did so good. I just have a few questions to wrap up. So how?
1 second. Hold on. God. She's like, she has her friend say, I'm like 5 minutes away. Well, you can't tell me if you're 5 minutes away, bitch. You want your fucking sweater? I'll throw it on the ground. Anyways, ask me what you want.
I wanted to talk a little bit about your recovery. So how long have you been clean? Do you keep count?
April 2nd will be 23 years off cocaine and heroin. Now, honestly, I can't say, yeah, I've had a couple slips back in the days, but I don't consider those relapses.
Hey,
I have my clean date. I have my clean date, and that's my clean date. Okay. Now, if I was to go back out, yeah, then we'd have to start all over.
I love that. I agree with that. And I think that it's definitely very personal decision, but we've discussed it several times on my podcast about the difference between like a slip and a relapse.
Yes.
And
it was, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and just I think it, like I said, it's a very personal decision. But like, if we're not, I think that's the main thing that like when people bring up the topic, like that's kind of their main point is that if you, like a relapse is return to old behavior. So if you slipped and then you feel for yourself that you don't want to change your date, I support that 100%. I love that.
Yeah.
So what do you do to like maintain your recovery? Do you do meetings? Do you just do our TikToks? What do
Not
you do?
anymore. Nothing. TikTok's the first thing I've come back to. I haven't been to a meeting in years. I didn't think I needed them. I thought it was. I didn't have the cravings. I wasn't around it. I didn't want to go back out there.
Yeah.
I felt I had my life back in control.
Yeah, I can understand that a lot because I also I didn't do anything until I started up the TikToks and the podcast and all that stuff. And so I feel that like it's just if I don't want to go out, why do I need to do anything? But I think I found for myself that the community and the connection is a great, great thing. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. But yeah, I feel that 100%.
Yeah, well, this group has really, really made me feel a lot better about myself and realize that people actually care.
We do care. Well,
and people care. Like I tried to explain to my sister one time about being an addict. I said, you know what, Gail? You walk into an AA hall, a meeting, and every one of those people is going to say, yeah, I wish I could have a drink. I can't. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I want to get high. Yes, I want to, but I can't. Because if I go back out there, I'm not coming back.
Right.
There's not another recovery in me.
That's what I say.
So I had my one recovery.
Yeah, people say
I had my one recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad. 23 years is amazing. I'm super proud of you, Jules. Do you have anything you want to add before we wrap up? We are almost done. We're almost done with time. Anything you want to add? This was really amazing. I will do my editing combined where we got cut off. I'll make that one big video and I'll send you a copy so that you can see it when we're done. I'm super excited to share this. I can't wait.
Yay.
You did so
good. That'll be fun.
So much. I know you have really, really bad anxiety, so this was a big deal for you. So anybody, if you guys know Jules, all of our TikTok fans, send her some love.
I am not ashamed of who I am or what I did. No. I can't talk to a lot of people, or very few. But, when it comes down to it and, you don't just have a conversation and say, yeah, I was out there sucking and fucking and letting people do whatever they wanted to me to get well. You know, and they're like, "What? You were a prostitute? Fuck yeah, I was a prostitute.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, fuck man, you got to survive."
Dude,
You
I
know,
was a robber. Like I went around and robbed people's houses and stole their kids' piggy banks. I didn't give a fuck at all. And that is a
yeah,
like
exactly.
yeah, so like I think who are people to judge? Like, so what? You sold your body, I stole things. That's not the people we are today. You know what I mean? That is not the
No,
people we are
no.
today. So that's
And
what matters.
you know what's really fucked up is I don't know if it's from the prostitution or from the rapes, childhood, and then out there, but I've got like my sexual. There's I could care less about that.
No sex
You
ed.
know, I don't even. Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, it kind of ruined it. So hopefully, I'll find the love of my life. I'm waiting, hoping. I don't want to. I don't want to live the rest of my life alone.
No, of course not.
I won't be alone. I'll never be alone. But,
Never alone, never again. But I
hopefully-
understand what you mean. That's not the same. All right,
Yeah.
Jules, I'm gonna shut this down. I've got a few things to do
Okay.
before I start my next live. I'm going live on TikTok in just a little bit. If you're not busy, come on and see.
Okay. Oh shit! There's my fucking sister. There she
Okay.
is. There's that bitch.
Have a great time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.